All right, so this is the Scoop podcast we're doing right now.
Scoop, it's our BPI Sports podcast. We try to do it once a month, but now it's kind of once every 6 months.
All right, so we're going to talk about current events and what's happening and some supplement reviews and whatever. So
easy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys can go ahead and pop it off, start it off.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, guys, welcome to the Scoop. This is episode 10. My name is Whitney, Reid, National Sales Manager for BPI Sports.
You got talking to the head of the... Remember, we got new equipment.
New equipment. I don't know how to use this stuff. Welcome to episode 10.
The retro mic is harder to talk into.
Yeah.
Of the Scoop with Chris and Whitney.
I think yours is just decorative.
Okay.
Is his working?
No, everything's working.
Oh, okay.
No, his is for later on for the money shot.
My bad.
For the money shot. Remember, guys, we're here. Jay's got about 500. We're live on Jay Cutler's IG, on the BPI Sports YouTube channel. But if you're not on YouTube right now, you can also go to the Cutler Nutrition Instagram page or the BPI Sports Instagram page.
So we're everywhere.
We're live right now. It's a 360 approach. You can't escape us.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. I'll start reading out questions as they come in, but we'll start from the top.
All right, I'm going to kick it here.
Slide it over there.
All right, so Whitney said our 10th installment of The Scoop, and of course we have our biggest guest ever here with us, 4-time Mr. Olympia, but even more exciting, 3-time Arnold champion, Jay Cutler.
Welcome.
I always get disappointed when people always just say 4-time Mr. Olympia and never say 3-time Arnold champ. You know, I was the only Arnold champ to win 3 years in a row.
In a row?
In a row, I won. And I won the most muscular award every 3 years, too, just to throw that in.
In your face, Dexter Jackson. I got it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
What year did you start?
02, 03, 04.
Okay.
And I won all 3 of the H2 Hummers that they gave out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What you doing?
What do you do with those cars? Did you sell them or what?
I sold them, of course. I moved on to other things. But, you know, it's funny because when I did win those, it was like one after another. I sold the first one and then the second one, and I kept the second and third one, and I had 2 in my driveway, and the neighbors started to complain. I live in one of those communities that...
With an HOA?
No, yeah, HOA. So they're like, you can't park your cars in the driveway. I said, well, I already had like 3 other cars, so I had a 3-car garage and 5 cars. It wasn't...
What other cars did you have at the time? Because you've always had cool
Mercedes
cars.
And BMWs, I think.
Yeah. Is that when you had the smaller Mercedes with the...
I had a SL 500.
Right, that's in the video. What video is it in?
One Step Closer. I went shopping at Costco in that.
Yeah, that's right.
I was too big for that car. But.
We were talking about, with a couple of the guys in the social media room, talking about how before YouTube, the only thing you had were like the Ronnie and Jay DVDs.
Yes.
Were all the only vlog style. When they asked you to do stuff like that, but kind of what was your approach to that? Was it like, hey, let me just film my life?
No, it was you know, we put out a DVD every year, and I mean we would pretty much market those things and push them out, you know, through our channels, which at the time was the email and blasts and just like websites, you know. So
what was the guys in that directed all that?
Mitsuru Okabe. So there was only a few of us that actually let that guy into our lives, and the funny thing is, it was shot. Most of those things were shot within a week's time. Although I stretched, like the J to Z, the last video I did when I won the Mr. Olympia the first time was, you know, that was pushed out over a lengthy time because I just didn't have the time because of my schedule, and I wanted to document a lot of different things, but. I tell a lot of the younger generation, like, yes, that was the pre-social media. That was our social media outlet, and I think that's really what built the fan base for Ronnie and myself. Not only the battles that we did that were displayed in the magazines, but when you had only the magazines as the outlet, people wanted to see interaction and see actual live things, and that's what you saw in our training DVDs between the lifestyle and all the training and the food and how we shopped and what we did outside the gym, and I think that's really what started the trend towards social media, and nowadays you have all the different things. But even with the YouTube channels, we were shooting the Swole Monkey Productions way before like YouTube was even, these guys were making money off YouTube. We were just putting out content just to show, okay, these is how we do the exercises. And
like that early YouTube era where it was just kind of like home movies. More
it was a little home, it was like a
movies.
home movie camera, and we would just go in there and just shoot, you know, try to edit. It wasn't really any special editing. It's before all YouTube, you even knew what editing really was. Put a little music to it. And
well, that was before anybody even knew like what to do with YouTube.
They didn't know. There was no monetization back then. I mean, that was, remember, that was 08 we were shooting those things.
Not even a part of Google yet.
Yeah, it wasn't, so there was no ads, there wasn't any of that stuff. So if you look at some of those things on there, they're still existing. those are the early shooting we did for the training.
How could you find that? Do you think it's still up there?
I have it on Jay Cutler TV.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
and that's like,
That's
you
on
can
your
look
YouTube.
way back, you know,
Okay.
it's 6 years, 7 years videos.
Couple things. With the Arnold lineup coming up this year, who do you think Cedric's repeating? You think some new people in there that'll kind of have?
You know, I hate to say what I have for a favorite because it kind of hurts a lot of people's feelings because they look at my predictions as someone that's been there, and they might look at it as, okay, that it means something, but I think Dexter Jackson's going to repeat, to be honest.
I agree.
Wow.
I think he's the front runner. I think William Bonnick has a great chance. I mean, he was third at the Mr. Olympia, so on paper he might be the biggest. And also
Looks
Cedric.
insane on his social media right now.
I haven't heard anything about Cedric, and I'm just going to say it because I do say it to other people, so I might as well say it live, you know, on camera, is that, you know, basically I think these guys hide out too much. I think in this day and era, we have to display like what people look like. Not to say, hey, you have to strip off and show what you look like, meaning before the show, but like show what process you're going through. I mean, that's something that these guys, I think, have to do better. And there's no excitement if the guys aren't, you know, kind of doing some talking back and forth. Or
Like, that's what makes that Pittsburgh show, or used to make it so fun, because it was the first time everyone would kind of come out of their like a bear.
Yes.
Come out of their hibernation. You're like, all right, game time.
And I think that they're just a lot of people hiding out. And I mean, you mentioned Cedric McMillan, but I haven't seen anything about Cedric. I mean, I wouldn't even know he's doing the show if I didn't look at the list. I mean, we know Dexter's coming back for it. You know, Bonnick's obviously hungry to win it. Sean Roden unfortunately dropped out. He was a front runner for it. But the Rolly Winkler, I mean, he's a front runner. I mean, I've seen pictures of Steve Kuklo. He might be a dark horse.
He looks insane.
Yeah. So like here it is, like Steve Kuklo, no one's even mentioned his name, but I just saw pictures of him because he's putting it out there and he looks amazing. So, you know, let's see. It's only a week left, so I guess we can't get too
But
excited.
you know who else looks amazing, speaking of the Arnold? And it says here he's competing in the physique class, but I think that's wrong.
That must be
Because Jose Raymond's not a physique guy.
No, he's
But
in
Jose's a 212.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
looking nuts, right?
He's crazy. I talked to Jose, and one thing I can say about Jose, and not because he's on our team, he's putting out a lot of content. You know, he's showing what he looks like. He's on there doing his YouTube series, whatever it is, the Boston Mass.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And he's really he's stepped it up, especially someone that's, you know, he's over 40. He's been in the industry a real long time, has a huge history, very successful on the competition stage, but he's really stepping forward on the other end, social media end, really picking, you know, a different direction. And I think it's a good, he's been a great role model for a lot of these guys out there by doing this.
A great role model for the bodybuilders, you mean, on how to build a fan base and maintain relevancy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You have to have something after bodybuilding, right? So like he's really starting to build on that part of his career and expand.
He is, and I think he's showing his personality, and people like his personality. He's a likable guy, and you know he's had an awesome career, and I mean he looks absolutely insane. I mean he's very rugged looking.
Yeah.
And he's going to be very dangerous. I mean he's been there before. I think he has a sure stance as being the front runner for the show.
Question for you: with Jose competing back in, was it November? He did the Frigno Legacy show.
Yes, he did the men's open.
Right, did men's open, came in third, I believe, right? Second or third. So he did great in the open division. So he didn't really have much of a break as far as with his diet this year leading up to the Arnold.
Which is good for him, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. It's great for him. He didn't really get out of shape. And do you think that that's going to help his physique going into this show as far as being in better condition?
What I'm told, and I talked to his coach, Chris Aceto, obviously we're good friends, and I do talk to Jose. I mean, we stay in touch every few weeks, but he has told me straight out, his brother has told me, I run into Tito all the time when I'm out in LA training at Gold's Venice, and he was a great bodybuilder himself, but
Still has amazing physique.
yeah, I mean, he's still training even though we're at 50 years old, but the longer he diets, the better he looks. So some people are like that. I mean, they just, once you're on that program, and you both know competing, we all know that when you get on that competition diet, whether it be 12, 16 weeks, whatever, Chris, you diet a little short of time because you train so hard, but you know, you seem to be better, you're on better track, right? You have better schedule, you focus on eating your 6 or 8 meals, and you're doing your cardio consistently. It's much more consistent than normal off-season life, and I think that's what it falls with Jose, is that he's just on a better program, and I think it works to his advantage.
No, it definitely does. When we talked to him on the show here on the Scoop, one thing he said is he actually gets like stronger and stronger as he gets closer to the show, which a lot of people who look at the pre-contest thing from the outside don't get. But just like you said, when you start dialing it in, it's not just one component that gets better. It's not just you get leaner. You're just getting better and better as a bodybuilder. I mean, granted, maybe that last week when you're trying to pull some tricks or whatever, things get different. But, you know, when you're a week or two out and you're stronger than you've ever been, your body fat is insanely low, like, that's a pretty awesome feeling, right?
And he's pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, I mean, he does train heavy. I mean, I always tell him he doesn't have to pick up the weights and go very far because he's a lot shorter. But it's, you know, for me, I know from experience, I was always the same way. When I did Arnold Olympia, I always got in better shape a lot quicker. But the problem is I took away from a lot of my business when I was doing that. So that's why I solely focused on the Olympia eventually. And of course, it worked out to my advantage because I won. But I know if I wanted to strictly be a bodybuilder and stay home and train, I would have been a much greater bodybuilder without traveling and focus back-to-back shows like that, doing the Arnold Olympia every year.
Right.
And financially, it was very rewarding too, but the business side was better to my advantage, especially now being away from the stages and building the relationships that I have to continue to thrive and be more of a businessman rather than, you know, eventually the competitive side needs to come to an end.
So what year did you win your first Arnold?
2002.
Okay, here comes some bodybuilding trivia. Who won the year before you?
Ronnie Coleman.
Who? Who won the first Arnold?
Rich Gaspari. I watched it actually on
Guy's on-
ESPN, yeah.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah,
You were a year
89,
younger than I am. So,
89.
Yeah, we were just in our later years of high school.
I think it was 89. Or was it 90?
89
No,
or
89.
90, yeah. And
I think 90 they drug tested it for the
that was the
first
Mike
time.
Ashley year.
Yeah.
And that dude lives down here.
And
I've
Sean
seen
Ray
him around
won.
once in a
Sean
while.
Ray won actually that
Yeah.
year, right? So this is the 30th anniversary for you guys that don't know that are following along and not familiar with the Arnold Classic. This is the 30th anniversary of the Arnold Classic. They're actually bringing all the winners from the past years out to this contest to be on stage.
Wow.
In their prime, who wins that 30 lineup? Who
Jay
wins?
Cutler.
Yeah.
No,
wrong with you, my
listen,
friends?
I'd have to say, I would have to say Flex Wheeler. I mean,
Yeah,
Ronnie
totally.
possibly too. Ronnie was, but I think Flex was.
Dude, that Flex Wheeler stuff in the mid '90s was, I mean, dude, you were like coming up. So
Yeah,
you were,
yeah.
Like I was a fan, but you're like
So
a
was
level
I.
under that guy looking up. I mean, you're like
Yeah, but I was on the same. I was a fan too. I didn't have that, but Wheeler had just
unreal.
like '93 Wheeler. Like he was just insane. That was the first year he was a rookie. That year he won in '92 the USA. So I think.
I mean, he took his physique to a level that other people weren't at yet in terms of like the fullness and separation. I mean, Rich Gaspari in the '80s came in with that super gritty look, and obviously Lee Haney was just one of the best put together people ever born. But Flex came in so full and so round,
and just
you
so
hadn't
much
seen that on
detail.
anyone
Yeah,
else
and
yet.
he was only about 215,
Crazy.
Oh wow. What year
and he's
was
5'10".
that iconic black and white photo of Flex? What?
That was on '93.
That was '93.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unreal.
That was his rookie season. He came and won everything that year.
Wow.
And then he got second at the Olympia that year, and questionably, you know, arguably could have, depending on if they went for aesthetics or just that. But that's the year Dorian came and was a total, like, transformation of what he was prior. The
Right.
black and white photos of
Yeah, those
Dorian
were
Yates.
nuts.
Yeah.
I was actually at Madison Square Garden the year that Ronnie won his first one.
98.
But yeah, I went. I wasn't as into the sport, but it was close enough, and I wanted to check it out, and it was pretty cool.
Well, Wheeler was supposed to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the prejudging, and that was pretty. I've talked about that before. Pretty crazy. So, one other question on the Arnold, because I know it. So not the Arnold, but Mr. Arnold. Yeah, obviously had the opportunity to meet him a bunch of times. What's your take on that guy?
You know what? I was a huge fan of Arnold. He's very businesslike. I mean, he's really you know, done a great job with his career, and now coming back to the fitness side, bodybuilding, you know, Arnold festivals. I mean, he's on every continent now. But he's a great influence for all the bodybuilders out there. I mean, everyone had a pipe dream of getting into film or whatever. What Arnold did, I think he became more famous as an actor than he did as a fitness personality, because obviously back then they didn't have a lot of video of him. You see images, and he made sure. You know, I don't know if people know this, but Arnold. You ever notice that there's no rear shots of Arnold? You ever notice that?
You're not
Like
gonna find
pictures.
one.
You won't find any because he actually held back a lot of the images because he wasn't strong from the backside. So a lot of his shots are like his side poses and his front double bicep, that kind of stuff, because he always kept the weaker shots out of the magazines. He had a little more control of that. So that really, because his back wasn't powerful. I mean, not
Well,
like
he seems
today's.
to be really on, like the story of him training his calves like 800 reps a day because he didn't like them. You know.
covering them up, and I mean, it was kind of like a lot of mind games back then. I mean, I think that's about building physiques, but remember the equipment was a lot limited. I mean, the equipment and the nutrition aspect, and you know, people always ask me, how come the guys' legs today are so much bigger? I mean, look at even the legs from 20 years ago. Like now, guys have such big hamstrings, and people assume, okay, well, a lot of things change, but the truth is the equipment has changed a lot. You know, back then they were just mainly focusing on free weights. Remember, the Nautilus was launched, you know, early back then. Yeah, so there wasn't a lot of variations of machines. So it's like you go in the gym and you're repetitive about what you do, you're very limited. That's why it's always great and be open-minded as an athlete that trains, obviously, to build muscle. You know, use your advantage of training at different facilities on different equipment. Don't always stick to the same thing. I mean, if you're a garage guy and training at your garage, like Whitney Reid's garage workouts, and you're the same thing, I mean, you know, it's good to switch it up once in a while. You train at different facilities.
Well, my one experience with Arnold, you'll get a kick out of, because, you know, we've sponsored the show so many years in BPI and Cutler's history. You know, Derek never tells you what's going on. I guess we had to give a trophy out, and they didn't know, so I got to go do it. But I didn't pack any really nice clothes, and I handed a trophy. I handed out a couple trophies, and I think I gave one. I'm going to put it on my Instagram soon, like Brian Shaw, the strongman.
Yes.
Who's like 7 feet tall. So I got this really funny picture of like tiny me.
He was like his child.
But when I got off stage, Arnold made a comment to, I believe, Eric Hillman, and said, next time that guy presents, he needs to wear dress shoes and a blazer.
What were you wearing?
I had on khakis and a button down, but I had on a pair of like Skechers. No, a pair of like Skechers dressy shoes, but they had laces on them. So my one big moment to meet my childhood idol was him.
I think Lorimer's granddaughter came by the booth.
Yeah, she came by and told me next year I had to bring a blazer.
Oh, so they actually scolded you for...
Yeah. So thank you, Arnold, for my... thank you for
Were you embarrassed?
Nah, man, I did my best.
You don't. I know you don't care.
I carry the
Anyone that knows Chris's personality, he doesn't care.
Hey, khaki pants is big.
Yeah, but I'm surprised you actually had a matching outfit. That was, you know.
Just sweat shorts, and a BPI, a free BPI shirt, because that's all I wear. Hey, one guy we didn't mention yet. He was in here yesterday, and I know you've talked a little bit. Steven Cao. Kid looked fantastic. You follow that side of the sport at all?
I texted you the other day and I said this kid's going to do some damage, and I've been watching his progression and see how he's really. I mean, he's taken, like this younger generation, they've really taken control of social media and really putting themselves out there and doing a lot of content. And I think it's awesome. But he's really transformed the last few weeks, and I expect him to do some big things here on the Arnold stage coming up.
Yeah, he looks great, and I don't know if you were aware, but he had hernia surgery back in like November or something, or some type of he had surgery back in November, December, for him to make that turnaround and now look like, you know, how he does now. It's amazing.
So one thing about that dude, he's a Jersey guy. I actually met him when he won a show called the John Kemper Classic, which is a Jersey kind of legacy show. And he wrote into BPI and said, you know, I'm won a show. What do? I want to get sponsored. And I had a nice conversation with him, and his career is like, you know, been unimaginably successful since then. But he is the nicest dude. He's a great dude. If you follow him on social media or whatever, you know, a really sincere and nice kid. And he trains hard and he lives a life. So wish him all the luck in the world. So,
and speaking of New Jersey, you want to give a shout out to where we were last week?
Oh yeah, Diamond Gym.
Our favorite gym in the world.
I saw the videos, and you know, I wish I would have gone the last time we went up there.
Next time we're going. They would think about that place if we bring Jay in there next time we go.
They'll probably let you in for $5 on the day pass. They'll be so happy to have you. Because I've been there 100 times and sent samples. I've never once caught a break on the day pass.
Well, shoot, that's better than LA Fitness. They wanted to charge me $20.
Yeah, then the manager came out for a picture and still charged him.
Yeah, what was that? The guy came and took a picture and had a line.
No, they were shout out to was it LA Fitness and Secaucus.
Hey,
they let me train there.
Listen, if anyone from LA Fitness Secaucus is listening, go rack the fucking weights. Because that place is a fucking mess, and you all never clean it, and it's a signature club where you got to pay the extra $5 to get in. So shame on you.
Shout out, we still love you guys, but fucking clean it up.
Yeah, clean that shit up. But Diamond's awesome. They got pictures of you all over it, and I mean, we walked in, and it's very urban, so it's a very big group of really scary dudes. And Whitney and I started getting, we go over to the dumbbell rows, and they got the heavy dumbbells in like a big pyramid. And then, like, as soon as we chipped into the pyramid, everybody was like, "Hey, man, good set."
Everybody, we were cool with everybody.
You make your friends.
Once we started rolling the 200-pound dumbbells, they were like, "All right, yeah, come on."
Yeah, then you're on the inside.
It's funny because
awesome.
living in Massachusetts growing up, I mean, Diamond Gym was like legendary, right? If you like, that was talked about. Like, if you want to go train at good gyms, you got to go to like Diamond Gym, and like that was very, very famous before. You remember this was before social media. It was in the magazines, you know.
Right.
Yeah, back when Steve's was still gold.
Yeah.
Like 100 years
But
ago.
everyone wanted to go out there and train, so it has a legend.
Yeah, then you get there and it's like, you
wouldn't expect
panel.
it. Yeah, you wouldn't expect it, but it's great.
You come off the squat rack and you got to dodge the holes in the floor to get yourself.
But some great, I guess, homemade equipment.
Dude,
some of the best equipment in the world.
And it's a piece of bodybuilding history, which is a wonderful thing. So keeping things moving here. Let's talk about Cut Nutrition real quick. Want to pay some bills. Shout out to who?
Yeah, Vitamin Shoppe.
Great friends.
Our great friends at the Vitamin Shoppe. It's Cutler Nutrition is exclusive with those guys. We have several products currently on shelf, and we're getting ready to expand within the next couple of months.
The line is about to explode.
Yeah, it's going to get huge. And
Dun, dun, dun.
don't forget, next month in March, BPI and Cutler Nutrition will both be BOGO 50 all month long. Make sure to go by there and get some great deals.
So yeah, the BOGO 50, quick thing, it's honestly, they do it with a lot of brands, so this is for everyone, not just for us, but if you're a big fan of, say, our BCAAs or another brand's pre-workout or whatever, the BOGO 50 is really a great chance to try other products from the brand that you identify with. So if you are, in with the Cut Nutrition brand or the BPI brand, there's a good chance maybe something you wouldn't want to, you want to try, or a flavor you're not sure if you'll like. Great chance to get in on it, so it's really a pretty valuable promo that they have. Probably skip the fire drill in the interest of time.
No, let's do it. No, I mean, let's skip it.
Yeah, let's skip it. But
let's do it.
What's a fire drill?
Fire drill is a bunch of random questions. You know what? I'm
rapid
gonna do it
fire
anyway.
questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
Well,
send
give
them
Jay 2 questions.
Yeah, not.
Although Jay doesn't move in fire drill pace.
Fire drill. So you gotta answer them quick. This is not like sit on it, and that's the actual what we paid for our fire drill. So here's a quick question. The hardest workout of your life. Do you remember it?
No.
It was so.
They're all hard.
Best advice you would give to the 20-year-old Jay?
Ooh.
Wow, that's a good question. More patience, I think. Have a little more patience in what you do.
Find a different career?
No, I actually, I was one of the success stories. It's okay.
Your favorite place in the world to work out?
Gold's Gym Venice.
Great answer.
How has social media evolved in the fitness industry from YouTube? How do you think? That's kind of a
Well, we hit that one
automatic
pretty good,
question.
yeah.
All right, that's it. That's all we need
That
for
was
the
easy
fire
enough.
drill.
I have to say, East Coast Mecca too. Steve Weinberger's gym. It's a toss between those two. There's a lot of energy in those places.
Yeah, we were there just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
How many people were there for that? I mean, it must have been
400 or 500 people. Yeah.
Yeah, 500-600 people for the what is that?
Fitness
called?
workshop. Yeah, we did a fitness workshop for the show. If you get a chance here, go train at Bev's. It's all the gym. Why is the gyms all in New York and Jersey, man? What's up with that?
Well, one thing that we saw, and I'll try and say this quick, but maybe you'll agree. When we were young, that whole West Coast dream, bodybuilding, Joe Weider dream, and it was cool, and you wanted, Gold's Venice is definitely a thing. But then in the 90s, when the publishing industry was changing, Muscular Development magazine came on, and right there at, Bev's and Steve's, kind of brought a new personality or a new side to the sport. And I think that that era really spawned a lot of East Coast, intensity or philosophy. You got the gym that Jose's at up there in your old town. I know you had a couple Royal gyms in Worcester growing up.
Yeah.
So it kind of brought some life to that side of the country.
I think you're biased.
I am.
I think the West Coast people would say, "Oh, we had better gyms," but I always imagined the West Coast people. It was sunny every day and it was nice, and we were going to the gym and had to change our shoes to go into the gym because it was snowing or whatever. It was kind of a pain in the ass.
Right. There's definitely a stereotype of an East Coast guy that goes to the gym and
Work boots and lows.
Yeah.
You're wearing Timberlands and Carhartts walking into the gym and hoodies.
Everything in the parking lot is a work van.
Yeah.
You're like, is everybody here a plumber? Connect?
Yeah, we went from doing concrete work to going to the gym after. I mean,
Right.
people.
Well, the West Coast has a new thing with the barbell brigade gym.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Well, they're just trying to pretend to be East Coasters. That's all.
Yeah,
Right.
trying to West
A lot of
Coast spin.
a lot of transplants. That's where it all came from. I guarantee the guy that owns it is from
Northeast.
yeah.
Yeah, he's from the Northeast.
What about in Vegas? What's your favorite spot?
You know what? There's a lot of great facilities in Vegas. I mean, I train between LVAC. I train at City Athletic Club. Shout out to Jay Jung. Lift Factory is awesome. That's a new location that's really good, and EOS Fitness is great
Lift
too.
Factory is the gym that has your
the mural.
Really
it's like
cool.
a key card club. It's super small, but they got awesome equipment. Those guys are really doing an awesome job.
It's like right off the other side of the highway.
It's
from
off the
strip,
and
right?
it's only it's on it's about 20 minutes off the strip, but it's like literally 5 minutes from my house. So I train there a lot.
Well, we do have one of our brand ambassadors we want to shout out, Kyle Calger. Is that how you?
Calger, yeah.
He's in Vegas.
Yeah.
He's one of my guys.
He go to one of those gyms. You meet him in a gym.
Yeah. I met him in the gym actually. I met him training at LVAC when he was a lot younger. He just got into it, and I said, "Man, you got a great physique." He had good muscle bellies, and then he got into competition, and then became he's one of our demo guys.
Right.
And
So he's actually our ambassador of the month, and
Yeah.
I got to give Kyle a lot of credit. He's a very hardworking guy for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Lives it, breathes it. A great ambassador of how we like to position the brand. Hard training, hard working, great results. And Kyle's definitely in the gym every day, putting in the work. His Instagram page is awesome.
Let's give a shout out to his Instagram page. It's KCOWGERBRUH. So K Calger Bruh.
Brah.
Bruh.
All right, well, there you go, brah. You got a big shout out from Jay himself on the scoop. I mean, that's almost as big as Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show giving you a mention. So.
Nobody
Tell me
listening
something.
knows who Johnny Carson is, by the way.
All right, let's finish it up with we have a huge event coming in April that Jay will be attending. So Jay, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Which one's that?
Which one? The
Because I got a lot.
We got the one that they're talking about, and you can plug whatever you want, by the way, but there's a rather new show called FITCON. It's a whole expo.
I was there last year, yeah.
It's in Salt Lake City, Utah on April 6th and 7th. And before we get into it, I just want to mention that, you ready for it, Eddie? Okay, just making sure. Eddie Daniels, everybody. In addition to Jay, who has a marquee role at the show, BPI co-founder James Grage will be joining him there on the 7th at 11 a.m. and they're going to be putting together a multi-level seminar. But one of the pieces they'll be discussing is being an entrepreneur in the fitness realm. And James, as a co-founder of this business, is incredibly on point to talk about that topic. So I wish anybody out there the luck that we've had, although it's not really luck, but
A lot of hard work.
a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be another figurehead there. Like it was last year, I think Salt Lake City is actually a really good market for fitness. They have really good gyms up there, and I always told everyone when I was guest posing back in the day. I mean, I think my biggest crowds are actually in Utah. Like it seemed like a younger demographic, and there was just a lot of people that showed up. I mean, there was like 3,000 people in the audience at the night show when I guest posed out there. So, I see a lot of new faces still getting into it, and it's a big market for us. So, shout out to those guys at FITCON. They're doing a great job, and I'm excited to be there. I'll be there for Friday, Saturday for the event, early April. But I do have a lot of stuff going on. I have the Cutler show a week before in the Desert Classic in Las Vegas. I have that happening. That's going to be at the back of the Palms. And, of course, I'll be at the Arnold here in March. And then I go to Australia for the Arnold, and I'll be all over the place. Crazy schedule.
Are you going to Australia twice? Are you
Yeah.
going to both events in
Yeah,
Australia?
I have FILEX in April
Right.
that I'll be attending, and also be at FIBA the week before that in Germany. So I'll be at a lot of international shows. So it's kind of back to back to back. April's a full month, and then the last weekend of April is I don't forget where I'm at. I'm at another Fit Expo, I think, or something.
Actually, the first time you and I met in person was coming back from FIBO. And my joke
that's right.
is,
Yeah, that's right.
You always say you can never sleep on planes, but the one flight I took with you, you were like passed out and snoring for all 8 hours coming back from Germany.
I was.
Yeah, you kind of woke up and you're like, oh, you guys are from BPI.
Because I work so hard, Chris.
Yeah. He always says he never sleeps. The first time I met him, he slept for 8 hours straight. He had the face mask on and everything. So we were in the back, coach, and he's up front. So actually, we were up front in that one. Me and a former international guy of ours.
I don't know
those
who
were the
you're talking about.
Those were the good old days, man. Okay, so that is that show, and I do want to add that if you are interested in attending the show, you can get a discount on your ticket by going to bpisports.com/FitCon. And even if you're not looking for a discount on the ticket, there is a lot of information on the show, the event, James and Jay there as well. Aside from that, Arnold next week, very exciting.
Yep.
Product launches coming up in Vitamin Shop from Jay. Some other excitement in our other channels. We got a couple new grocery chains coming online, making BPI products more available to everybody wherever you shop. BPI liquid water enhancers still taking the world by storm.
Yep.
Dropping a dose of deliciousness into everybody's gallon bottle. And you can order them directly from us. Vitamin Shop, GNC, Giant Eagle supermarkets in Pennsylvania also carry them, with hopefully more retailers coming online. What else, Dennis? Am I missing anything?
I think that's it. I think you guys covered everything. This was a special bonus show. I know you guys got to get back to slanging some of that.
Yep, last week of the month.
End of the month, we got to get back.
I appreciate you guys for doing this again. I know it was hard. Thank you, Jay, for coming out here and doing it with us. And
again, let me give Jay the outro. So here it is. So one final thank you to Jay Cutler. This week it's important to remember 3-time Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic champion and 4-time Olympia champion, which is ridiculous in the world of bodybuilding. So that's pretty sick stuff. And appreciate your coming down to the scoop and hanging with a couple of us.
It's like coming down.
A couple average dudes.
It's cold in Vegas right now, so it's nice to get a change of pace out here.
Cool. FITCON, that's the big next thing after the Arnold. So exciting shit.
And never forget.
Oh, and do not train like a pussy. That's the key to it all.